Hey dude, how are you, man? It's been a while.
What are we talking about today?
We are talking about Red Bull Rampage, looking back at it almost 2 weeks after.
Today we only focus about your day and how the finals went for you.
I think we have the right person to talk about it because you got Jules, my housemate, but also you have been part of 2 Rampages now from start to finish, and you are creating all my media or our media because it's teamwork. And yeah, let's do it.
Is there anything specific to the morning of Rampage compared to the other days?
Yes, it's different because we have the breakfast on site, and the breakfast start really early. Even though it's still dark and we're not ready to ride, pretty much we gotta be there for like, I think 5:45, 6, something like this. But I'm not really a morning person when it comes to riding bikes. So yeah, it is actually terrible.
Do you already feel the pressure coming?
So it's kind of like no stress until it's time to drop in, because you're not gonna have amazing practice because even on a non-windy day, you're gonna have a windy kind of morning.
How practice important the day of the finals?
Well, it's supposed to be very important, but I never had massive expectation on those practice because back on my slopestyle days, I just know that I'm not feeling amazing. I just know that the only important thing is to be warm, to hit a few things and be warmed up, but you're not gonna change much. I mean, at least I'm not gonna change a lot by those practice. It's funny because when I go back home after Rampage, all the conversation I have is like, how do you guys go back up? Well, we walk up with our bikes on our back. Just the way it is at Rampage, and I think it's also an important fact because it wouldn't be Rampage if it was easy. So you like, it's super tough on the body, and all practice, like it takes half an hour to hit one feature, and then if you messed up your, I don't know, you messed up your run up, or you don't jump it, it takes another 5-10 minutes to go up again. And yeah, practice are super tough. You're not getting like shuttle, and yeah, that's why I think Rampage is complicated, because you get very limited practice because you're trying to save some energy. And the day of the contest, we have people hiking our bikes up to save energy, which is a great thing.
Someone is bringing your bike to the top, you're walking to the top. What are your diggers up to?
Mostly the diggers just walk up the line with water. So they cut the water, but they save in a few tanks here and there, a little bit of water to water to take off, and a few compressions and a few important spots. Sometimes the braking spot that are really important to be watered just to make sure you're gonna be able to brake. Sometimes it's a lip. So yeah, mostly they have maintenance to do on the line.
Do you do anything specific on the way up?
Well, I think it's really more a head game that day more than anything, because you're not changing anything. You're gonna drop in anyway, and it's the same conditions for everyone. So I'm trying to stay calm. I'm trying to stay focused. Sometimes when you're hiking up, it's still windy and it doesn't look like it's gonna drop in. But no matter what, you're gonna drop in this. No matter what, you're gonna drop in. So when I compete, I realize that staying in my zone is the most important to me. Like, I'm not really talking to people or talking about the day, or I like feeling by myself and just staying focused on what I'm up to.
How do you focus? Are you imagining your full line?
Yeah, I think there's a few important spots that you know that are important. Some pop, some speed, some run up, some breaking points, and I'm trying to remember all this. But I think at the end of the day, it's just staying really calm.
And on this line, did you had like one specific spot where you felt that once this is done, boom, you good?
I would say the most dangerous section was the that first drop into the huge braking we had into the pop of the spin, because the spin, like if you messed up your pop, you kind of done. It's like, and I haven't spun it in practice, so I can only just imagine it's gonna be fine. When you think about it, all Rampage crashes are always like mostly on like run out of features. It's really rare that people crash on their tracks. They always kind of like land it, lose the focus, and kind of not remember what speed to take, and then make a mistake and crash or reshoot the next jump.
Is this what happened to you?
Well, yeah, kind of like actually, I think I went too fast into that spin drop, overshot it, and by the time I'm like, whoa, like how did I get out of it? I'm like, oh, I don't know what to do, take it safe. And I was supposed to switch spin that jump, and for some reason I was like, no, first one, just spin it. And I know that my spin always tend to go a tiny bit alley-oop when it's my right way of spinning. And also the setup was, I was sure that the right decision was doing a switch 3 on that one, the way I ride it. And for some reason I'm a bit lost, and I'm making a mistake of not sticking to the plan, and I land to the side of the landing. Typical Rampage crash, to be honest. Like, you land your big move and you're a little bit completely like out of your mind, and for some reason you make a mistake. My mistake was that, but I feel like a lot of other riders have done mistakes like this.
So you went too far on the left, and I remember you were talking to Andrew, which on this line you went too much on the right, and it sent you a vocal message about it.
Yeah, Tommy Jesus! Man, just make sure you go left. Don't do the fucking almost die on the cliff thing. Yeah, dude, fucking stop to see it, dude. Stop to see that shredded. Fuck yeah, Tommy Jesus.
Well, it's that historic moment where Andrew comes from, he doesn't come from the same takeoff, he comes a bit more left and spin the other way. So like, I think everyone remember that movie, like spins left, case, goes a bit offline, still decide to do that gnarly little flip, and then land even more sideways and go back in it. And well, I'm spinning the other way, so it makes sense. And I went completely left, but ran out of talent, and not everyone can be like Andreu, and I did not save it like he did.
After that crash, you stand up and you're looking for your bike.
To be honest, I didn't think my bike fell off that cliff. I'm like, okay, I made it, I'm all good, I'm not hurt. Where's my bike? I was bummed that I messed up my run, pretty much. And with all this waiting game at the top, like every normal human these days, I pull out my phone and start checking Instagram.
So you check Instagram between your runs.
Well, we were waiting for the wind, so might as well just, check the feed. And then I start seeing my bike, the crash, and how it tumbled down and almost took someone out. And I see my bike tumble down. I'm like, how is it possible that my bike isn't snapping off or in 10 pieces? And there I started stressing out, but it was too late, because I was on top and ready to drop in. But until that moment, I didn't see my crash pretty much. I was so lucky. Jason from GT was there. Shimano was there. Kevin from Suntour was there, so it was yeah, I just got those people take care of my bike and I didn't have to worry about it, and I just got the bike back. And yeah,
You had a second bike, right?
well, the spare bike kind of showed up super late, and I didn't have time to ride it. And yeah, like I don't really like riding brand new bikes just because it's kind of like shoes, you know. You want it to be your bike and braked in a little bit. So I was just like, I'd rather have a beat up bike than a brand new bike that isn't mine yet.
So you got your bike back and you went straight back to the top for your second run.
Yep.
Paul was very motivating and trying to get you hyped up. What were his words?
Well, I think Paul is a very competitive person. Yeah, he's still like super into slopestyle and gets 5 massive contests a year. So his mindset is, unlike me, really into contests, and he knows how it feels to be in this situation, to mess up your first run and having to do it all over again, having to do that process all over again. And yeah, so I think he was just trying to be positive and be like, dude, like, I know how it feels, but it's not the end of the world. And you have more chance to land your second run because you just did that spin, you just linked that first start into the drop, so you have more chance to land a second run. Give yourself a shot, pretty much.
Because linking that Brett Reader's drop with your 360 spin was a big stress for you because of practice.
From that crash, we changed a few things. I think we picked more. We broke a few rocks where I like got bounced. Or yeah, we did a few changes with Lewis and Paul. But yeah, that crash was funny. I think I wasn't mentally focused enough, but I basically just really did everything wrong. I like popped too much. I went too fast. I think I was a bit too nervous into it and released the brake and really went for it, which I think was a massive mistake. Carries way too much speed, couldn't brake. In fact, if Lewis wasn't there, I think I would have just ended my rampage there. Yeah.
What do you have in your mind at this point? You're going up for your second run so far, no wind.
Well, I was feeling really bad about it, to be honest. I think that massive break we had in between was really positive for me mentally. But at the time, it wasn't windy, and I was gonna, because of the re-rack, because they re-racked the run in the starting list. I was starting just after Bienve because he also crashed.
They start from the bottom for the second run?
Yeah, so they take basically whoever is dead last and work their way up. And Bienve and I think Bienve was starting first, but then he realized he got back to the top, but his end started being way too painful, and he decided not to take the start. So I was first to drop in right after the last year's winner, who was Cam Zink. So I was pretty much waiting for Cam to drop in his first run. And then it was still not windy. Well, not windy, it was starting to be windy. Cam drops in, crash, and yeah, the event is on hold pretty much for like 40 minutes because yeah, he couldn't move. We had to, they had to call the helicopter, and yeah, that takes a while, obviously. So 45 minutes later, I had to drop in, and it was super windy. I was pretty much like, oh, there we go. That's how Rampage is not happening. Well, that's how the second run is not happening. But I think luckily I had a Semenak with me who also did not land his first run, and he was like, no, let's make it happen. I don't know, like, I think everyone wants to see Semenak go down. I don't know if they hold it because of that, but It's the first year that we were able to just push the event to the evening.
So you asked for it.
Yeah, basically they were like, okay, the wind is not gonna slow down until 5:30, 6. Yeah, they decided that we would go down and run the event at 5:30, which was an amazing decision. I think they should always do that. They should get one run down in the morning when it's not too windy, and that other window that we have is in the evening. And that break was really positive for me. It was, I don't know, kind of a reset. And I was like, wow, like they're giving me another shot to not feel like shit. So I was like, wow, this is amazing. I'm lucky if I can drop.
So that's how you felt. You felt like it was done, and the fact that you were able to have a second run way later in the day.
Yeah. Second chance, pretty much. I really felt like, oh wow, I'm getting a second chance to feel good about this year. It's still windy. I'm still stressed out, but I'm like, if there's a way that I drop in again, I'm gonna make the most out of it.
Were you planning to change your line a little?
Yeah, I was like, damn it, like I just crashed on the normal spin. I know the switch spin, I got it, but it's obviously a tiny bit harder. And still like all those questions back. I hope I don't overshoot. I hope I don't case. I hope I get the spin. Random question that have no place to be at the moment, because I should just be sticking to the plan, but yet I changed my plan again. And I decided that I was gonna do a flip cam.
When did you decide that?
At the top, I was like, flip can is probably more consistent. I'm just way better at spinning and doing 360 tricks than I am at flipping. Flip can is not a hard trick, but it's what you gotta know about that jump is that it's so hard to judge the speed. I personally wasn't able to get any tricks in practice, so it was very stressful. Like I could have overshot, I could have case, I could have messed up the spin or the flip. But I thought flip can was probably the most consistent I had.
How come you don't practice tricks?
Well, I think Rampage and like slopestyle contest, it's super hard to get a trick in practice. Don't ask me why, but it's pretty much the hiking part of it, the stress, how dangerous, how inconsistent, how everything is. Tricks are hard to get.
So you're at the start for your second run, and you have Paul helping you for the win, to tell you when to drop and when to drop in. For how long did you just stay there?
It used to be like, if not all the riders complete the second run, it doesn't count. But I feel like since they have an 8-minute waiting rule, it's like whoever wants to drop in can, and you have 8 minutes to wait for the perfect window. Past the 8 minute, you out. Yeah, next.
And you can't come back.
No, I was waiting for my 8 minutes. I had 8 minutes to drop in pretty much and find the perfect.
When does the 8 minutes start?
It starts whenever the dude at the top start the clock. So he start running the clock and he showed it to me, to the camera. He's like, all right, you got 8 minutes to go. Paul was was at the first drop that I was scared of in the wind, really exposed. And Lewis was standing on my flat drop. Yeah. I was just so in the moment. I was just looking at him and nothing else. And I wasn't able to like focus on the rest. I was just like looking at Paul and waiting for him to give me the okay, pretty much. And I was a little bit losing my mind because I would see the clock and no one was before me to kind of like test if the wind was fine or not. So that moment was like super stressful because you running against the clock, kind of running against the time.
And they have big responsibilities.
They have big responsibility, but if you look at it, I dropped in at 7 minute 30.
Okay.
So it was now or never.
At the moment you arrive next to Paul, you ask Paul, how's the wind?
There wasn't even a question. If I was getting blown by the wind on that drop, I was for sure gonna crash. But was he really gonna say no? I don't know. I asked him like, is it fine? Is it fine? And obviously he was gonna say yes. It was too late. C'est comment?
C'est bien, c'est bien. Allez, doucement, tout doucement. Tu l'as.
Everything went better in run one. I landed that drop really good. Got the braking. Unlike the first run, I came a bit slower. Landed the tree better. I was set on the flip can. I remember one thing is that my rear brake, I think was kind of done from the crash, and went all the way to my grip. So I kind of had to pump it to get the brake back just before the flip can, and it was like, oh fuck, what's the speed? And then landed perfect the flip can, and that's kind of where I'm like swearing a lot, because like my it's like I'm halfway there, and I felt like I did the hardest part of my run, but there was still so many chances for me to mess up on anything, on the way down, leading to the front flip, going too fast, too slow.
Front flip, when was the last time you did a front flip?
Probably 2016 at some random slopestyle event. But the front flip in practice, because I did get a front flip in practice, was the first one in the ages. And then the first one ever on my DH bike. I have never had, like, to be honest, nobody with a little bit of sanity wants to do a front flip on a DH bike, because it's a little bit terrible to do. And but yeah, actually for some reason it felt good. Like when I snapped the front flip, I was like, I think I'm landing it. I just overshot a little bit, but I had the feeling that I had the right snap. And I was just super stressed out about how much speed am I gonna carry into that lip. Like, will I have the feeling to brake, or because it's non-stop. That run is, any Rampage run is non-stop, like brake, release the brake, brake, release the brake, and it's just all about feeling.
And then the last jump, you did what was planned?
No, it was supposed to be flip can, but because I used the flip can on top, I was like, am I doing the switch spin there? Am I spinning that jump? Am I flipping and doing another flip can? But when I got there, I was like, okay, I'm doing another flip can. And I pop, and I'm like, oh, there's something wrong. Like, not about the spin, but there's something wrong. I don't know what, but don't get the foot out, because it's something is coming your way. And for some reason, I've always overshot that jump.
Yeah.
But that day, I'm sprocket casing the landing, like both tires. Like, it's not that important, but when I saw the landing, I'm like, oh no. Like,
And then you cross the finish line, and something that I discovered editing your GoPro straight after the run, you gave the middle fingers. What, to whom exactly?
to no one,
Okay.
but to the situation or to the venue. I was like, fuck you, I did it. You know, kind of like, because that mountain stressed me out so much for the last 10 days. And I was like, oh, I'm leaving you with success. You didn't take me out, pretty much. That was it. But the problem is you easily forget that you're being filmed because you saw in the moment that, I don't know, at least me, I'm not like wanting to hug everyone. I'm just like so in my head in the moment, like I did it. Yeah, like middle finger, and I'm like, oh damn it, like there's people watching right now.
Do you feel that Rampage is an important place to also make media? Can you win Rampage without winning Rampage?
Yeah, I feel like years ago, I did not even pay attention of sharing things. Yeah, like we had Instagram and Facebook, and you were gonna post maybe once that you in Utah and once after maybe the podium or your ranking or just a random picture. But it wasn't, you didn't really feel the need or the obligation to do a massive media work. I fit more in the past than I'm fitting in the present regarding this topic. It's 50-50. Your place matters, but you would better be really good on the media and be 10th place, I think, regarding what your partners are looking for.
Next year,
Mm-hmm.
you coming back? Is it going to be on the same venue?
Yeah.
What are you looking to change?
It's kind of funny because I feel like I know where I can improve and where my line can change. The fact is that zone, we have used it way too much already. 2018, 2019, I wasn't super hype. I love the venue, but I wasn't super hype on coming back on that. And I really thought everyone would change their lines and do different shit. But the fact is everyone went back on their own line. And I don't know if you remember, but we were looking for a complete fresh line. But when we realized that everyone was back on their thing, it would have been a mistake not to reuse whatever was there or to go back on your line. We decided to completely change. So that was making it really hard for me in practice because I had to guinea pig things that I didn't know the speed and practice tricks that I never did. So I think the easier way would have been to stick to my own line, but I hated it and I really wanted to change. And I wish everyone would have changed. So yeah, we ended up taking part of Reader's line, part of Brandoc's line, and back on my old line. I think we did good. I'm really happy on that. And I'm excited for next year. If we're going back on the same line, same venue, it's a pity, but I'm also excited because I know where I'm potentially able to improve. And the worst scenario is when you don't know if you're getting invited back and you don't know if it's really worth having this specific Rampage training or if you're looking for something else next year. So at least I know what I'm doing.
Can you break down the price of going to Red Bull Rampage?
Yeah, Rampage is in a way really American style, and I don't mean it in a bad way, obviously. When I say American style, it's a lot of money is coming in, but a lot of money is going out as well. Meaning that we got appearance fee and potentially prize money. Appearance fee is $9,000.
Appearance fee is like copyrights to use your image.
Yeah, appearance fee is that pretty much. Is they're paying you to be there. But technically it's just a word because they know that this is the money that you use to pay your trip. As Europeans, this trip is really expensive. Because team of 4, meaning 4 flights, meaning a house for 4 people with a garage for bikes, with a rental car, with food, with fuel, with tours. This trip cost approximately $15,000, I think, to make a Rampage trip. So you're getting 9 and I got 5 as prize money for 6th place. and we had help from a few sponsors.
So you have extra help from sponsors.
Yeah, it was mostly, if we have to be transparent, it was mostly to pay the media presence. So you. So thanks to those sponsors who helped out.
Because you decided to as well.
Yeah, because I decided that, well, let's be honest, we all have a job and bills to pay. So for you to take 3 weeks off your lifestyle, and for Louis and for Paul, who are both professional riders, and for Louis, rider mixed with builder, yeah,
They are not paid.
they're not paid. I'm not able to pay them. There's absolutely no money that could match how much work everyone is doing. So well, at least in my team, everyone's working for pretty much free. But the fact is, it takes also so much money just to afford going there. So when I make the final countdown, I think I earn €2,000 for making a 6-pace run at Rampage, which is great. I think there's so much more to say about Rampage, especially on like, well, there's a few topics that you could cover, but I think we mostly covered everything on the day and the final days and how it runs down. So I think we finished. Just want to say a massive thank you to whoever helped me out on the site, and also whoever support me and my lifestyle. So all my sponsors pretty much. And yeah, also to Suntour for putting this video together, and I hope you guys enjoy it.